Good morning, students. Am I audible? Okay. So today we'll discuss about a new topic, estimation. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if it is visible or not. Okay. Is it visible? Screen is visible? Okay. Let's wait for 3 minutes. Then we'll start. Okay. Not 3 minutes. 2 minutes. Let's other comes the class. Okay. Almost all students came, so let's start. So basically you must have heard about this word estimation, right, in your practical classes. So in this subject, engineering economics, estimation and costing, it does we have brief discussion of every we'll discuss every topic briefly. Okay, so let's start. So basically, as if you are aware, it is a scientific way of working out the approximate cost of an engineering project before the execution of work. So before and after, you can also add before and after of after execution of work. Before we do an estimation that how much cost a project will cost us, that will be an approximate estimate. And after the execution of work or during the execution of work, you can take out the quantities and you can make a detail estimate. Okay, so basically it is a totally different from calculation of the exact cost after the completion of the project. So before the project, calculation will be bit different compared to the calculation after the project. It requires thorough knowledge of the construction procedures and cost of materials and labor, in addition to the skill, experience, foresight, and good judgment. You should have a good knowledge of the structures. Okay, means you should know. Suppose you have got building projects. So what are the stages? First, you will do the construction. Sorry, foundation. So in foundation, first you have to excavate. Right. So you should know all the designing process and procedures. Then plus you should be aware of the what will be the cost of material, market prices of suppose cement, reinforcement, plaster of paris, different items. So you should be little aware of what is the present market value and what is the present labor cost is going on. Okay, so you should have the proper knowledge of all this. The basic philosophy for estimation is it needs resources, it needs times, human skill, and cost. Basically, we do estimate of cost, human skill, time, and resources. You can also say it is an estimate of the cost of a construction job is the probable cost of that job as compared from plans and specification. For a good estimate, the actual cost of the proposed work after completion should not differ by more than 5 to 10% from its approximate cost, provided there are no unusual unforeseen circumstances. So, suppose you have been given a project of G plus 4 building. Okay, let me try to note. Suppose for G plus 4 building, you have done an approximate cost. How will you do approximate cost? Just like that, our structure, then that excavation will be this, our whole cement cost will be this. You just by thumb rules, you just estimate that this much will be the cost of the building. Suppose it was we have done the approximate. We have not taken the detail estimate, just approximate estimate. Let me give you a more easy example of approximate estimate. Suppose you're going to buy a car. Okay, then you assume that on road price of a car is 5 lakh rupees, suppose. Then after going there will be some charges for its accessories, that so suppose 2 lakh. And when you it may yeah it you can add petrol cost also, suppose it's 1000 rupees. So just you summed up, you will get an approximate how much cost a car can cost you. But after going there may be some other charges like tax and all, GST they will add. Okay, so they will give you the detail estimate how much cost, means they will give a bill where they will list out all the 5 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees and 1000. But in general you have done a rough estimate which is called approximate. This is the rough estimate, or you can say approx estimate. And after going there, you will when you will get the bill, they will show you the detail estimate, kahan kahan kitna kharch hua. Understood or not? That is the basic difference between approximate and detail estimate. And this the amount of approximate estimate and detail estimate should not be more than, suppose I have estimated approximately that my car is costing me 7 lakh rupees. So the detail estimate should not be more than, tum agar after going there if it is costing you 10 lakh, why will you buy na? So your your that the cost of the project or cost of the car should not be more than 5 to 10% from its approximate estimate. So if I'm estimating that this car is costing me 7 lakh rupees, so that actual cost should not be more than 5 to 10%. Otherwise it if it is not in my budget, why will I go for the project? In the same way, if the G plus 4 building, you have done the approximate estimate that it is costing you 5 crore rupees. But after execution, if you see if you do the detail estimate of each and everything, if it is costing you 10 crore, so it's yeah, more than 5 to 10% of 5 crore, then it's a loss for you. So your detail estimate cost should also be in range of 5 to 10% of 5 CR. Okay. See, if you have any doubt, just in that slide only, you just type in the chat box. Okay, then it will be easy for me to explain you then and there. Now, what is the need for estimate? It helped to work out the approximate cost of the project in order to decide its feasibility with respect to the cost and to ensure the financial resources if the proposal is approved. So, why we do approximate? So that we can have a rough idea how much this project will cost me. If I don't do an approximate estimate and bluntly I construct a building, and after at the mid of the project I'm means I have less money and I have no money, suppose I have no money to spend more. Suppose I have if I don't assume, basically if I don't assume or if I don't do approximate, how will I arrange the money, right? Suppose my budget is 10 crore rupees, and if I have not done the approximate, I have 10 crore rupees, I have started constructing a G plus 7 building or G plus 8 building. At the midway I'm lost of money, I don't have money, so I'll complete the project. So you should have a rough idea how much your project will cost you. You do this in everyday life, right? Suppose you have to buy something, you generally approximate. You used to approximate that this thing will cost me this much, so I have to arrange this much of money so that I can get it, right? So that is a rough estimate, and that is a need, one kind of need for estimation. Requirements of control materials such as cement, steel can be estimated for making applications to the controlling authorities. When you do an estimate, you also do for materials also. In rough estimate, you will for building, for roads, for building you will need cement. Main material is cement reinforcement. The main material is cement reinforcement and aggregates. Right. So you in approximate estimate you just rough estimate that this plus G plus 4 building will cost me this much. Basically these are based on thumb rules. You can, if you do on 1 2 5 6 projects, you will able to you will be able to say that this building will cost, it will require this much of cement bag, this much of steels. Okay. And if you do, so you can also roughly take out how much steel and how much cement will be required, so that you can purchase those material on time, and you can provide that on time, so that there may be okay, yeah, you can provide that on time on the site, and it won't be any delay. It is used for framing the tenders for the works and to check contractors work during and after its execution for the purpose of making payments to the contractor. From quantities of different items of work calculated in detail estimation, resources are allocated to different activities of the project, and ultimately their duration and whole planning and scheduling of the project is carried out. So from quantities of different items of work. So different items of work will be represent. Okay, let me show you an sample of this is BOQ. What we do, we take out the quantities. Okay, taking out the quantities. You must, in your practical class, when ma'am, Gayatri ma'am and Ananda ma'am must have taught you the long wall and short wall method. What you do there? You take out the quantities, right? By length, breadth, and height. So that is the way. In some materials you need length, breadth, height. In some materials you need numbers. Okay. So here it will be serial number. Suppose I have written here excavation. Okay. You can write length, breadth, and height. Multiply this, you'll get the quantity. Suppose I have the same length, same breadth, same height in two directions. So it's 2. You multiply length, breadth, and height, you'll get quantity. To get the total quantity, you just multiply this quantity with numbers, you'll get the total quantity. Okay. So basically this is the BOQ. Then by taking this total quantity, you make a price bill of quantity. What you do? Same one, excavation. What is the unit of measurement? If you recall, I have ma'am have given you a long sheet. The unit of measurement is given for every item. For earthwork, it will be meter cube. For plastering, it will be meter square. So there you have to write the unit, in which unit it is taking. Then the quantity, rate, for excavation. Then you will get the cost. Quantity multiply rate will give you the cost. Okay. So basically in this way we used to do estimate. So we were at need for estimate. So for quantities of different item of work, so different items of work will be mentioned in those BOQ, is calculated in detail estimation. Resources are allocated to different activities. If we do an estimation, we can allocate different resources to different activities of the project. Suppose resources, you can say, for the excavation, for the plastering, for the brickwork. For the excavation you will need how many labors you can allocate, how many cement bags you can need, you can allocate. What will be the if by with the help of the size you can provide the reinforcement also. Then for brickwork, you will need you will need cement, sand, bricks. So you can allocate those resources at that time. So based on this, you can easily complete your project in a systematic manner. Now, how site conditions affect the overall cost of the project? Each type of work requires a different method of construction. It may be of an ordinary house or office, and it may also be of dam, tunnel, multi-story building, airport, bridge, or so different construction, different requires different site conditions. Okay, each of these works requires totally different construction techniques, types of machinery, and form work. So this dam, tunnel, if you are going for tunnel, there you may need many equipments. Then labors will be different. Those so site condition will be different. For airport, different equipment, different workers, different form work, right? For bridges, so different, based on that it will affect your cost. Quality of labor and labor output varies in different localities. Yes, in some places your labor may not be very skilled, and in some sites your labor may be very skilled. Suppose in some places where laborers are not skilled, you have to hire some skilled, so the number of laborers will be increases. You can take an example. Then in where your labor are skilled, you need not to hire extra laborers. So and quality of work will be different for skilled and between skilled and unskilled labor. Weather condition greatly affect the output, hence the overall cost. Yes, suppose you have started construction in the month of June or May, June, July, or in the rainy season. So you won't be able to complete the project. So it will delay the project. It will delay in cost of the project also. Okay, it may cost you more because you have to pay the workers for those days also when were not working. Okay, and in rainy season may your maybe your cement gets hardened, so you can that is the wastage of cement, right? So these are weather condition also helps, or it also helps in affecting the overall cost of the project. Ground conditions vary and change the method of construction. For example, excavation may be dry, wet, hard, soft, shallow, or deep, requiring different efforts. So the ground conditions plays an important part. Suppose your soil is very loose. So what will you do? You will go for deep foundation. If it is hard, so you will go for shallow foundations. So based on that, it will affect. So based on that, it will changes the cost of construction. The work may be in open ground such as field, or it may be in congested areas such as near or the public roads, necessitating extensive watching, lightning and controlling efforts. So if your ground, if you are working on open field, you will need a lot of lightning. Suppose you are working in public areas, you will get the street lights. So what lightning controlling efforts. Then if it is far from city, then you will need transportation services also. So these also affect the overall cost of the project. The source of availability of a sufficient supply of materials of good quality is also a factor. Yes. The availability of construction machinery also affects the method of construction. Access to the site must be reasonable. If the access is poor, temporary roads may be constructed. So basically these were the conditions which how they affect the overall cost of the project. Now these are the essential qualities of a good estimator. He must have a good knowledge regarding the quantity surveying. He must thoroughly understand the drawings of the structure for which he is going to prepare an estimate. See, basic and most important is how you will be able to study the drawings. You should be able to take out the quantities from the drawing very effectively. Okay, suppose you have been given a drawing of foundation. Okay, there will be different layers. You should be able to take out the quantities for each and every section of the foundation, every walls. So you should have good knowledge about the you should thoroughly understand the drawings of the structures. He must also be clearly informed about the specification. Yes, in specifications will be like, suppose in earthwork or in plastering, which cement you should use. Okay, in government project generally they used to give the specification that in earthwork you use this. They will give you a option of options that you can use star, Birla, and like top cement. They will give you some options, so you have to choose from them only. For steel also they may give you that in excavation you use 60 bar only. So you have to go with 60 bar and you have to do the calculation based on those specific specifications. Okay, and these are the same some capabilities. Knowledge of the detail of construction work, experience in construction work, having information regarding the materials required, machinery needed, and all cost. Good judgment with regard to different localities, different jobs, and different workmen. Selection of a good method for preparing an estimate. He should be able to ability to careful, thorough, and hardworking and accurate. collect, classify, and evaluate data relating to estimation, ability to visualize all the steps during the process of construction. So these are the some qualities a good estimator should have, so that he can prepare an estimate very effectively. So these are the things you should an estimator should do before preparing the estimate. The estimator should visit the site and make a study of the conditions there. For example, if the construction of a large building is planned, the estimator of his representative his representative should visit the site, and you should locate the location of the proposed building, get all data available regarding the soil. Because see, first, if you first, why you need the soil data? Because based on if you do soil and there if you do the SPT test there, then you will be able to know how what is the quality of the soil and which foundation will required for that building. Okay, make a sketch of the site showing all important details. So when you will see this, you have, suppose you have to draw a drawing, you have to plan a building, you have to design the building also. Yeah, in some an architect can ask you the site showing all the important details. So you will need this data also. Obtain information concerning light, power, and water. So during the construction you will need light facility, right? You will need water facility. So you should make you should obtain the information from where you can get those light and water facilities for the site. Secure information concerning banking facility. Suppose your site is very far away from your from Guwahati, suppose. So you have to there should be some banking facility so that you can transfer the money, and the site engineer can take out the monies for all the works, so that all the works goes smoothly in the site. Note conditions of streets leading to railway yards and to material dealers. And okay, so you should site survey the site, so that when some materials you need to require for the site, you can order there. Because if the site is very far from Guwahati, you if you send a truck from here with materials, it will take a long time, plus there will be some transportation charge. So it will be good if you just buy all the materials from nearby locations only. Investigate general efficiency of local workmen. So you should hire local workmen, and you should investigate they are effectively skilled or not. So these are basically uh, some works of a good estimate. He should possess. Okay, we studied about this. Now let's come to the type of cost estimates used in construction. So these are some different estimates: preliminary, plinth area, cube rate, approximate, detail, revised, supplementary, and annual repair cost. There are two main types of estimates. So basically, there are two main types. The main estimate is categorized in basically two types. Number one is rough cost estimate, or you can say approximate. Number two is detailed. Depending upon the purpose of estimate, some types of detailed estimates are as follows. Contractors. So detailed estimates are further classified into contractor, engineers, and progress estimate. So we'll discuss each estimate one by one. Let's start with rough cost estimate. So as I discussed in the starting of the class, it is the estimation before construction from plans or architectural drawings of the project scheme, when even detail or structural designs has not been carried out, is called rough cost estimate. So when you do an estimation in the planning stage only, that your detail and structural design has not been prepared. Okay, you do a rough estimation that this much will cost us. It's called as rough cost estimate. These estimates are used for obtaining administrative approval from the concerning authorities. So suppose I mean yeah, suppose we have a site, we need to construct G plus 4 building. So I may have asked you, just take out the rough estimate that how much will be the cost of a building if we construct a G+4 building in the site. So if you have, what you have to do, you have to tell him the rough estimate that this much amount will may cost us in constructing a G+4. So if suppose if the budget is in between, so that they can he can get an approval from the authority that this building is costing us 5 crores. So administrator, if it is in budget, he can approve. So basically we do the rough estimate for approvals also. Sometimes, on the basis of rough cost estimate, a proposal may be dropped altogether. Suppose your cost has increased. Suppose my budget is 5 crore and the rough cost estimating is costing me rough cost estimate is showing that it is costing 6 crore rupees. So I may drop the idea that let's do one thing. Will not construct a building, or you can make changes also. Okay, G+4 is costing 6 crore. Let's go for G+3 building. So that is this is a deciding factor. Rough cost estimate makes easy, or it helps you to decide whether you'll go for the project or whether you'll make some changes or not, like that. Unit cost is worked out for projects similar to the project under consideration. They are used to in nearly the same set conditions. So you unit cost, that means you you make the estimate in terms of unit cost. That, like cement. Cement is 1 unit. How much it will cost in all, in G+4 building? Total unit. Total unit of cement. Total unit of reinforcement. Total unit of aggregate. Total unit of paint, like that. Okay. Unit cost means cost of execution of a unit quantity of the work. Same as I discussed. To find rough cost of any project, this worked average unit cost is multiplied with, okay, this what you do, unit cost is multiplied with the total quantity. How much is the total unit cost? Is suppose 750 for one bag. For one bag is 750, and you need 4000 bag. So multiply that 4000 with 750, you will get the total cost. For example, let's see an example. In case of a building, plinth area of the proposed building is worked out. Suppose in case of building, you have taken out that this much is the plinth area. Okay, suppose 4000 square feet is your plinth area, which is then multiplied by the cost per unit area of similar building actually constructed in the near past in nearly in the same site conditions to find out the rough. Okay, what you do? Suppose one building is constructed already over there. This is your site. Okay, now you are going to construct a building here. So you have taken out that my building will cost me, my building has a plinth area of 4000 square feet. So what you'll do, you'll multiply those 4000 square feet with a rate. That rate is cost per unit area of similar building actually constructed in the near past in nearly same site condition. So if this building is constructed in the same nearly close to the building plus in nearly same site conditions, so you will take the plinth area rate that this building has been constructed. So if this building has been constructed at a plinth area rate of suppose 250, so you have to take 250 rupees. Multiply this 250 with 4000, you will get the cost of this area. Okay. This cost estimate is sometimes adjusted by the average percentage rise in the cost of materials and wages. So see, suppose that building has been constructed in 2014, but in 2020, and I'm constructing the building in 2021. So you have to adjust the percentage increase in the cost of material and wages. So how much cost increases from 2014 to now in materials and labor cost, you have to add that also in terms of percentage. It may be prepared on the following basis for different types of project. Cost for per square foot of covered area is the most commonly, okay. Basically, it is talking about the plinth area method. So rough cost estimate is further divided into, if you see, This preliminary cost estimate, basically these three are nothing but rough cost estimate area. What we do, we estimate the whole building based on the how much is the plinth area. Okay, so that is they are talking about. For example, sometimes they used to do an rough estimated for cost per square foot of covered area. That means plinth area is the most commonly adopted criteria for preparing rough cost estimate for most of the residential building. For public buildings, cost per person is used. So for this residential building, we generally use plinth area method for finding out the rough estimate. But for public building like student, hospitals, hotels, what we how we calculate the rough estimate? We calculate the rough estimate based on numbers, number of student, how much will the cost per student, how much will be the cost per bed, how much will be the cost for guest, for student, hospital and hotels. Cost per cubic foot is particularly suitable for commercial offices, shopping centers and factory buildings. Cost per person is for these buildings. For commercial buildings, we'll go for cost per cubic. You can take foot, you can take meter. For water tank and reservoir, cost may be worked out on the basis of capacity in gallons of water stored. So if you want to find out the rough estimated of water tank or reservoir, so you just take out the how much quantity it can take, multiplied by the rate, and you can get the value. Okay. Then for roads and railways, cost may be found out per millimeter, per mile or kilometer of length. For streets, cost may be per 100 meters of length. In case of bridges, cost per foot or meter of clear span may be calculated. So these are the ways of calculating the rough cost estimates for different works. Okay, that's all for today. We'll in the next class we'll continue with the detail estimates. Okay. So all of you can write your roll numbers in the chat box, and if you have doubt, you can ask in the chat box. And please don't leave the meeting till let me take the screenshot of the participant list. Who is roll number 34? Write your roll name also, na? Who is roll number 34? Are you new?
Yes, ma'am.
New means you have not attended last semesters.
Not attended last semesters. No, no, I'm all student.
Huh? What is your name?
Yes, ma'am. What is your name? Toko Temi.
Okay. Write your name. Okay. Just 34.
Write your name, okay? Just 34.
You mute yourself. 34 roll number. You mute
Okay.
yourself. Okay. So just write, just like others, write your name then roll number. Like see Sanan Ponger 0011. So like that, write your roll numbers also. Okay, those who wrote their roll number, they can leave. Thank you.